I've used many GTA Online vehicles over the years and gathered up the most overpowered ones as of this moment. Some do get nerfed or buffed, so we're going to be taking a look at the most up-to-date capabilities of these ones. You definitely want to be owning these type of vehicles in GTA Online. The Terabyte got a massive upgrade with the Agents of Sabotage DLC. It's got a specific upgrade that's unique to this vehicle only, and that's the Bureau Tech. So many useful upgrades that you can equip all at once on this one vehicle. So taking your Terabyte inside of the Garment Factory, you got the collectible scanner, silent running, missile lock-on jammer, and master control terminal that's actually inside the back. The least useful one is the collectible scanner, which basically just highlights any collectible that you're close to outside that you haven't gotten yet, and you can actually see the full collectible list if you go in the interaction menu, and then it's going to be in all collectibles, and then you should see your progress in all of these different ones. Silent running gives you unlimited off the radar as long as you're sitting still inside of your Terabyte. You will know this works if you see your map icon is flashing. That's how you know you're completely off the radar for everyone in the session. Missile lock-on jammer is exactly like the Imani Tech option, so no weaponized vehicle will be able to lock onto you. And the master control terminal is the same thing we have inside of the arcade, which is one screen that you can access all of the different business computers you have. So let's go up to the screen, press X or square on PlayStation. Then all of the different businesses you own are going to be appearing here, so we can access the computer in the nightclub from here, the bunker, the MC business, vehicle cargo, special cargo, the hangar computer as well. All of these upgrades are in addition to the money making methods that we already had inside of the Terabyte. So let's go in the touch screen, and then you have a bunch of different missions that you can do, especially when these go on bonus. These are actually really good money methods. This is also a great segue to our next overpowered vehicle, the Oppressor Mark II. Conveniently enough, to upgrade the Oppressor Mark II, you have to do it inside of the Terabyte, so it's kind of like a 2-in-1. You must have one to get the other, and this is where you put on countermeasures and homing missiles on this thing, which is kind of a must just because the stock machine gun is horrible. Now, the Oppressor Mark II actually got nerfed in two different ways. One being the price of it. It got raised to $8 million, or a trade price of $6 million, much more expensive than I believe the $4 million price tag that it used to have. And then the missile tracking got nerfed pretty heavily, so locking onto certain vehicles. Let me actually get the cops on me first so I could showcase this. Many players actually prefer to be using it with homing missiles off, just because you can kind of maneuver with it and aim where you want to aim without having to lock onto something that you're not going to hit. Just because if I show the missile tracking on this thing, you're going to see that it rarely hits the target while moving. I'm actually trying to miss with this thing, so there you go. That's one miss right there. I'm going to try to lock onto another one and see if I could hit it. And then there's a police helicopter there. Is it going to hit it? Nope, because the missile tracking is so freaking bad with the Oppressor Mark II. Especially if you're using it for PvP, the homing missiles just do not hit the target most of the time. And this is Rockstar's attempt to basically nerf this thing because it used to be way better than it is right now. With that said, it still is one of the best vehicles in the entire game for money grinding and PvPing, even though most PvPers just use homing missiles off with the Oppressor Mark II, because the homing missiles just do not have good accuracy whatsoever. Next is the best amphibious vehicle in GTA Online. The Toreador is a really special vehicle that can go both on land and underwater. It really is the best of both worlds because it's one of the most fun vehicles you can use in this game, but at the same time, it's also really good for PvPing. It takes a few missiles to fully blow it up, and it's got a nice set of weapons with a machine gun and some homing missiles. Unlike the Oppressor Mark II, the missile tracking on this thing is actually much better and much more accurate. On top of that, I really see it as a vehicle that's really good for going on the offensive and on the defensive, because if you're getting chased by someone, the safest place apart from inside your businesses that you can go is really in the ocean. So if you drive in the ocean, then hold right D-pad and you will turn into a mini submarine. And the best part is you can actually use the rocket boost that this thing offers, both underwater and on land. So it does make it a relatively fast vehicle. I would definitely prefer this one over the slow actual yellow submarine that we have in the game. This is just a much quicker option. Very few vehicles in the game that could actually keep on chasing you while you're underwater in the deep oceans around Los Santos. So pretty much no one could get you as long as you're down here. And since we're already in the ocean, let's move on to our next vehicle, which is also going to be in the ocean. That's going to be the Kosatka submarine. Oh my gosh, dolphins! You can actually go sightseeing with some dolphins in the Toreador as well. That's pretty cool. Whoa, there's a whole whale. I don't even think I've ever seen a whole whale in GTA Online. Wow, so this is actually super sick. You could literally go adventuring entering with the Toreador. I guess that's another plus with this vehicle. Also, I never really tried to enter the Kosaka with an underwater vehicle, but looks like if you just go directly under it, you can press right D-pad to enter it. That's actually super neat. I never knew with the Toreador you can directly go inside of the Kosaka like that. Let me know down below in the comments if you actually knew this was a thing, but that's actually super sick. The Kosaka is good for so many reasons. There's a lot you can do in here. The main thing about the Kosaka is starting the Cayo Perico heist in here. In my opinion, the best paying heist in the entire game, and arguably the best overall money method in this game, so just for that reason alone, the Kosaka is a must. There's another really cool feature about this place, the missile launching station, which not many people use honestly, but it makes the Kosaka way better in my opinion, considering you could literally go super far. The range of these missiles are actually really far. If you're at Vespucci Beach like me, you can probably get all the way to the casino, so you have enough range for the entire city. You can cover the entire city with these missiles. You can take out players with this thing or pedestrians, stuff like that. It's a little difficult to maneuver, but honestly, if you get used to it, you can make it super effective. Of course, you also have fast traveling with the Kosaka, so if you go to sit down real quick, you can teleport to a bunch of different locations around the map, like the left side, the right side, and you can teleport to all these places for a small fee of $2,000, so very worth it. Another great segue to our next vehicle that's basically like an extension vehicle to the Kosaka. So after you get the Kosaka, you have the option to upgrade and get the Sparrow helicopter. That is the best helicopter in the entire game in my opinion. It's by far the fastest, and it's actually faster than a lot of aircrafts as well, like planes. You can modify it in here, put some countermeasures, put some homing missiles on this thing as well, and for a good reason. This is a lot of people's go-to vehicle for getting from point A to point B in free roam. Plus, if you're doing the Cayo Perico heist, you can actually use the Sparrow for a lot of them, and it just makes the setups way easier and way faster. On top of spending 2.2 million on the Kosaka, you can get this thing for about 1.3 million, I believe, something like that, so it's super worth it. As you can see, this thing is literally zooming around the map. It's actually super lightweight and super fast. Another vehicle with a business inside of it is the Brickade 6x6, or the Acid Lab, whatever you want to call it. It's similar to the Terabyte in that sense, but if you have a fully stocked up Acid Lab, you can sell that for a couple $100,000. That's the business and money making side of it, but the other side of it is the actual vehicle itself and the insane ramming capability of this thing. I want to say it's one of the heaviest vehicles in the entire game. That guy went flying, and one of the more enjoyable things I like to do in free roam is just ride around in this thing and crash into streetcars, especially on the highway, just because these cars go absolutely flying. As you can see, even big trucks like that you're going to be able to push back relatively well. Besides it being very heavy and having a great ramming ability, this thing is one of the most armored vehicles in the entire game, meaning it takes a ridiculous amount of missiles to actually fully blow it up. I think it takes some crazy number like 50 missiles to blow it up fully, which is so many missiles that some vehicles don't even have enough of. Very difficult to actually blow you up inside of this thing, so it's one of the safer vehicles you can use. To get this thing, just unlock the Freak Shop properties by completing the first dose missions, which you can start up by going to Sandy Shores and going into the yellow R icon. The Titan 250D is easily the most fun air vehicle we've gotten recently in GTA Online. It's got some really cool weapons that we can use, and you can use it both solo and with a friend. You can customize it inside of the hangar, and it's going to be costing you more or less $5 million, averaging out both the trade price of the vehicle and the buy it now price. I am using it completely solo right now, so what we can do is hold right on the D-pad to go into the gun camera, and one of the 3 super powerful weapons that we can use is the 40mm cannon. As you can see, they're all explosive cannons, so if you have a pilot in this thing, you can use the 40mm, the 25mm, and the 105mm, but if you're piloting the plane yourself and using it completely solo, then you're only able to use the 40mm, so just one weapon out of the 3. Each one have different magazine sizes, reload times, and ranges. 40mm I would say is the most medium range one out of the 3. The reload time being a few seconds is a little bit annoying, not gonna lie, but you just have to get used to it, and most importantly, just hit your shots when you do try to blow up vehicles just like that. This is the perfect vehicle to cause chaos in GTA Online just because the weapons are so good and so fun to use. It takes a couple of missiles to fully blow it up, although if someone actually hits the tail of the plane, you're gonna start losing control immediately. So if someone hits specifically the tail of this thing, it's pretty much a one-shot. That's the main downside with this plane. Otherwise, it's super fun to use, again super overpowered if you ask me. Honorable mention goes to the Night Shark. I wouldn't say it's super overpowered or anything, but it's got the best of both worlds with explosive and bullet protection. It takes a couple of missiles to blow this thing up, and it's got window plating, so it makes it harder for ARs to actually hit you. It's a great vehicle to use for different heists and missions where you have a lot of NPCs trying to laser you. If you're enjoying the video so far, leave a like on it and subscribe if you're new. Anyway, let's move on to the next overpowered vehicle. A fantastic air vehicle everyone should be owning in GTA Online if they have the money is the F-160 Raiju. This is pretty much a newer and better Hydra we got in the game, so it could fly vertically, it could fly horizontally. Pressing down on the left stick is gonna get you to go into plane mode rather than helicopter mode, you can call it. For landing in very difficult places, I would recommend going in helicopter mode just so you could get a much more accurate landing, but if you want to go in plane mode, this is one of the fastest vehicles in the entire game. Going from one corner of the map to the other, it's pretty freaking fast with a super fast jet like this. It's got all the weapons you expect from a really expensive jet, like the beautiful explosive cannon, the homing missiles, which of course have to have better missile tracking than the Oppressor Mark II. Comparing this to the Titan 250D, it's much more maneuverable, much more lightweight, and much faster, but in terms of the weapons, I definitely prefer the Titan 250D over this one. Just depends what type of jet you like, but if you could get both of them, definitely recommend it. Two super good air vehicles. Now, if you want to see some more amazing vehicles, click the video on screen now to see that. I hope you all enjoy that video, and peace.